Reef the Lost Cause, father, artist, mentor. You have a new album coming out. Me trying to do my best Vlad impression. But let's talk about it. Let's talk about the new album. Comes out in Black History Month. You're obviously a black man.
Yes. Obviously.
What about the new album would you like to share? And just as it approaches, I mean, this is what the second part of the trilogy that we've talked about. Manny's on the cover.
Yeah.
Talk a little about that.
Yeah. So I mean, this is it started off with the Majestic, which was out in 2018. Since that time, talking 5 years. Obviously I've done a lot of music, but this is what I consider to be my next album. I do a lot of group projects, side projects, mixtapes, if you will. We have the Reef the Lost Cause as a live joint, you know what I mean? All that stuff is more like fun and games, more keeping my pen sharp, keeping my name out there. But this record has been in my head for the last 5 years. The Majestic had Isaiah, my firstborn, on the cover. And this one has my son on this one. I consider my son, my oldest, to be the Majestic. He's this mysterious creature, and then there's this other kid, his brother, who's this rock star, man. The kid just he's something out of this world. So I'm taking the energy from my kids, all three of them, and trying to put it into the energy of the album. So this album feels a lot more triumphant. It feels a lot more hopeful. It feels a lot more. I was struggling for a minute there to kind of try to figure out who I was as a man, who I was as an artist, and I feel like I've kind of reached that point. I just turned 42, so right now we're celebrating. We're celebrating our life. We're celebrating the fact that we've made it this far. We're celebrating growth, celebrating love, family. What it means to be a father, what it means to be someone that cares about his community and his people and his city. And we were able to compact all that into what I think is a beautiful piece of art. And, a few years down the line, my daughter will be on the next cover, and we'll go from there. And I don't know what I'm gonna call that one. That might be like the demon or something like that, you know what I mean? That's basically what the album's all about. Is just the celebration of life and being the triumph of the human spirit to deal with the shit that we're all dealing with, and still somehow be here and surviving and growing and learning. That's a triumph to me. So that's why we called it that.
Yeah, and you touched on something, obviously, on the family piece, which we'll come back and talk about. But one thing I always appreciate is your writing process and how you go into these projects. But also, I remember you said something. I guess it was a little spicy, but we talked about the Drake album, right? And how sometimes albums these days can feel more like compilations. But I think you always do such a great job of writing these projects, constructing them like stories. I mean, you have a background in film, and which is a good question we'll come back to, right?
No.
But your albums always really feel like albums. Talk to us a little bit about the work and effort and what the process looks like in terms of constructing that. So it doesn't just feel like an album, a compilation. It's like something it's been in your brain and you've lived with for years.
Right. Well, first of all, thank you for saying that. That's always my goal, is to make it an album, not just a collection of songs. It needs to be a feel to it. It needs to be cohesive. So my process with that is to always try to start from a place of how is this going to connect to the next thing. It all has to kind of fit. And I grew up with, I think about the era that I came up in. Those albums, Illmatic, Capital Punishment, Jay's stuff, even something like Ice Cube, Predator, and all that. Those were albums, and I strive to make that same sort of piece of art where it's cohesive, it sticks together, there's themes to it, and we always kind of start with, just messing around with beats and different ideas, and then slowly but surely, I get it in my head of okay, I see it. This is what it's going to be. We're going to talk about these subjects, and this is going to lead to that. And I always try to throw in, the hype joints, the straight. I'm kill you. I'm the best MC ever. But it also has to have those songs about family, about vulnerability, about the things that I'm going through. I think that is what people look to me for, the fan base that I do have, when they pick up a Reef album, they're looking for that. They're looking for me to talk about real life and what I'm going through, and that's how they're able to relate to it. So it's not this unattainable life that you hear most people talk about. This is real blue collar working Philly shit. And anytime I get in the studio with the intention to make an album, it's my intention to make sure that it's a piece of art, man. And you know, obviously we're a maker society. I mean, shout out Juan for having us. But art to me is like it's more than just a beat and a rhyme. It's something that really you want to try to. It might sound corny, but you want to try to touch people, man. You want to try to. I mean, is that a pause? Touch people.
Don't pause.
Touch people's spirits. You know what I mean? And that's something that I always strive to do. And I think it does take time. I'd like it to not take as much time as I usually take. But this time around, it took those years for me to really figure out what it is that I want to say. And I think right now I'm at a point where I'm more intentional with what I'm trying to say. It's not just whatever comes out first. A lot of these songs, the versions you're hearing, there's 3 or 4 different versions of them because the first one wasn't right, the second one wasn't right, the third one wasn't right. To take your time to really be intentional about what you're trying to say is you know, I think the marking of a true artist. And I respect all those artists that try to do that try to not just throw stuff out there, but really take their time and craft something beautiful. So.
Yeah, you touched on the future, but I mean, let's stay on the album. You talked about beats and lyrics, right? Who are some of the producers on the project? I know Bear's on there.
Yeah.
I forget some of the other ones.
Yeah, so we got my man Berrouet, who's a lifelong friend. My man West Manchild, who's worked with Chill for a long time. He's an incredible artist, incredible producer. We got my man Phil Spector, who's a Philly boy that's like really killing it right now. He's got some fire shit. My boys, the B League, they're out in Oakland, California. They got some fire. Who else is on there? Dumb High, my brother Hodge. Always going to work with him forever. Who else? I don't want to leave nobody out. My man Andrew, who did the Triumphant. His name's Searchable Andrew. He's an artist from Philly. He's doing his thing. Damn.
Did Todd produce anything on this one?
Yes, of course. Thank you, God. God, can you imagine if I forgot that? Yeah. Caliph now produced 2 joints on there, and obviously he mixed and engineered the whole project. So Caliph's on there, and my brother Salim, Quan Salim, man, one of my oldest. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's the spirits right there. You know what I mean? That's the spirits, brother. You know what I mean? My man Quan Salim, who was basically my mentor when I was a kid, one of my closest friends and brothers and comrades. He's got a joint on there. So it's all family, it's all friends, it's all people that, listen, man, I get that there's juice having, bigger names and, things like that, but I'm operating from a family, owned business type of situation. Yeah. So the people that I work with are people that I know and that I have real rapport as a relationship with, and that's in every aspect of my career. It's just like people that I genuinely love and care about and believe love and care about me. So the music, I think, shines through a little bit more when it comes from that place. So it's always going to be people that like I fuck with, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, they all did a great job. All the beats I think are really beautiful and help paint the picture. So yeah, shout out to them. Mm-hmm.
I'd love for people to see. Well, talk a little about the collaborative process with you and Todd. You're a long-time collaborative partner.
Yeah, man. We were just going at it last night. You know what I mean? We were just bumping heads. Listen, the creative process between 2 people that are strong-willed and have strong visions. Sometimes it's going to lead to a lot of emotion, but at the end of the day, that's going to make for better art. Some of the best and biggest bands and artists, they went through war and hell together, but when they came out on the other side, they had something that was really dope, and that's how me and him work. We lock in. Usually starts off, we'll get a couple songs down, we'll stop, we'll come back, we'll stop, we'll come back, and then at some point something happens where we just lock in and we just knock it all out. And that's how we've done. This will be the 4th record that we've done where he engineered it and recorded it. And I think all four of them are really great. His attention to detail is what separates him from everybody else. I think he's very, very detail oriented. He's very regimented. So that helps me with my kind of like, I'm all over the place, you know what I mean? But he himself is very grounded. So it can be fucking crazy. It could be, you know, like I said, we go through a lot of bickering and disagreements, but at the end of the day, it's all because we care so much, you know what I mean? And that's what you want. You want people that give a fuck, that care, you know, and he cares. So yeah, our process is just kind of like, you know, fight to the death to figure out what's going to be, how's it going to go. So.
And then Todd also shot the video for the first single, Umar's Revenge.
Umar's Revenge, yeah.
And then got Tangerine out right now.
Yes.
What would you say is your? I know it's always so hard. It's like, you know, talk about obviously your experience as a father. Do you have a favorite record on the project, or a record that speaks to you the most?
It's funny you say that about father, but yeah, it'd be Fences. Fences is a song that, again, I had the beat for Fences. Shout out to Mega Demus. I've had that beat for 15 years.
Wow.
I had it for 15 years, and I kept being like, this is something that like I gotta, like, when I finally use this, like, it has to be. And for those who don't know that movie, Fences, Denzel Washington, well, it's based on an August Wilson play, but the movie really it's about fathers and sons, and it's a reflection on what a lot of us went through. I grew up in a volatile house with a lot of fighting. When I got in trouble, I got spanked and punished, and it was like there were times in my life, a lot of times in my life, especially as a kid, that I felt like my stepfather hated me. And what I didn't realize until I got older is that he was dealing with his own trauma. He was dealing with the way he came up as a man of a certain age, black man in the 50s, 60s, from the South. His uncle raised him, so he whooped his ass, and I'm sure his uncle got his ass whooped, and you know what I mean? And now here I am, a father. I spent all this time being like, you know, you motherfucker, you treated me so, and now I'm a father, and I'm fighting against some of those same demons because I snap out, I lose my temper, and I say horrible shit to my wife and kids sometimes when I'm in a bad mood, and I'm trying to break that cycle. I'm trying my best to be better than the man that raised me. And it took me a long time to be able to actually admit that, not just what happened to me as a kid, but also how I'm reacting to that as an adult. So I think to be able to finally write that and put that on wax and be able to, you know, if there's ever a time where my kids may, you know, if God forbid I'm not here anymore, they kind of want to understand their dad a little bit better. I think that song will be kind of a blueprint for them. So that's why, to me, that song is by far the most important one. Yeah. I mean, all the other ones, like, I definitely touch on a lot of things, but that's one of the songs where I really was like, okay, I'm going to face some shit here. I'm going to be honest about some shit here. Because, you know, internet, Instagram, Facebook, I'm fucking dad of the year. And, like, I'm like, y'all niggas don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can be a piece of shit. I can be fucking horrible. I can make my wife, you know, feel like she's not doing enough. I can make my kids feel like they're just, you know, horrible. And I'm a product of what I came from, but that's not an excuse to continue it, right? That's not an excuse to say, oh, well, I was raised like this. I grew up in a house where mom and dad screamed and hollered and said horrible shit to each other, so that's just kind of how it goes. It's like, nah, that's not how it goes, you know? And I'm just trying my best to break that cycle, and I think that song is a step in the right direction.
Yeah, no, I think you did a really good job of telling that story to the project. You can feel that, and songs like that. Definitely, you all definitely have the harder songs.
Sure.
And then you also got like the Kurt Van Houten.
Yeah. We gotta keep it light. And I mean, that's the thing about it is, like, you know, I don't ever want to be like some of these dudes out here. They're trapped in an image that they created. They're just the toughest. They're the toughest, most badass motherfucker on the planet. And it's like, yeah, that's cool, but you're also a human being. You also probably have some shit that you wish you could fix about yourself. You probably have some things that are hurting you and eating you up inside. Well, let's talk about that too. Let's show both sides of the coin. Like, yeah, I'm a fierce MC. I'll destroy you on the mic, but I also sometimes cry myself to sleep because of things that I haven't faced as a man. And I want, especially black men, especially men of a certain age, we really have to get to a point because we're dying, bro. Like, not just from violence, but internal shit. You know what I mean? most of us ain't making it to 60. You know what I mean? Because of all the shit that we're carrying, we got to get to a point where we let some of this stuff go and start to heal and all that. You know what I mean? So
definitely. I mean, I always tell Reggie, you're like your B-sides, the deeper tracks are always some of my favorite.
Thank you.
Lazy Sunday,
Yeah.
The Sun.
Sure.
I think that was from
Fight Music.
Fight Music, yeah. One last question about, I probably should know this, but we haven't talked about it yet.
All right.
Next single.
Next single will be The Light of Day.
Okay.
That's a song, another song, because you figure we had Umar,
Yep.
some hardcore shit, Tangerine a little bit more fun, laid back, like me just spitting. Now we're gonna get into a little bit more serious stuff as we get closer to the album. So The Light of Day is a song, we sampled this incredible group called Salt. If you guys don't know about them, they're just bananas, like their music is crazy. But we sampled a song that they actually took off streaming, so I think we're all right. Like, I don't think we're gonna get shut down because we basically jacked the whole song. But it's about alcoholism, which is something that, again, another struggle of mine. I'm not somebody that has the shakes and has to drink every day, but I do have. I like my drink, right? I like my drink, but I started to kind of slip off the rails a little bit, and the reason that I wrote that song was almost like a letter to myself and my partner about how I'm going to, again, try to be better. I know that, like, when I drink, you know, she can't find me, you know what I mean? I'm out in the world doing whatever, and I'm too old for that shit. I really gotta have to reel that back a little bit. So that song will be next. And then the album drops February 2nd, but February 1st we're gonna be dropping a song called Miraculous, produced by West Manchild. It's about black people, black pride, black love. So that'll drop the first day of Black History Month, and then the album will drop the next day. Yep.
Very nice.
These are the, yep.
So we danced around it, talked about your own mortality, especially, you know, as we both get older.
Yeah.
You 42, me 41, and some recent leg
You
injuries.
forget you younger than me. You know what I mean?
only by a couple. That year. Both December babies, but recent leg injuries, and then, you know, just the whole mortality thing.
Yeah.
You know, has that, your own mortality, the age, and obviously the fatherhood factored into a lot of your feelings on the music? Because I know I've listened to a lot of your music, obviously, but have you grown into the artist that wants to share all these different facets of who you are and this multi-dimensional person?
Sure.
And let you see the duality of man and first and foremost through you? Or was that something that you always wanted to do early on and couldn't really find your voice?
I think it was something that I tried to do early on, but it wasn't as authentic as it is now, because I am of that age and of that mindset, and I do feel like the clock's ticking a little bit more than I ever did before. I think when you're in your 20s and 30s, like, you feel like invincible, but like you said, like, I'm breaking down. Like, I wake up in the morning with back pain and arm injuries and knee, you know what I mean? I've been to the doctor more times in the last 2 years than I have probably my whole life, because of, you know, we have to. I gotta do the prostate drawing and all that. Like, we're at that age now, man, and like, my doctor's like, you gotta quit smoking and you gotta I'm on blood pressure medication. So when you reach that point, obviously, if you're, you know, unless, again, like we talked about, people stuck in an image of where they have to just be this one robot type style. Luckily for me, I'm not boxed into that. So I need to express, like, what it is to get older and be honest about that, because it's fucking terrifying. And especially, like, all I do is worry about my kids and my family not having me around. And I'm because, again, we're in a city where a lot don't make it to this age where we're at. But you add another 20 years, I mean, who knows what life's gonna look like for me. So I think it's important for me to really try to leave kind of like, I guess the best way to put it is I'm kind of leaving like little like notes. I'm leaving blueprints around for who I was, and almost instruction to my kids on what to do next. You know what I mean? Because I feel like at any time, any day, it could be over, man. And I don't think I thought like that when I was younger. And I think about it a lot more now that I'm older. It's like, yo, I'm getting up there, you know? I know 42 might be young to a lot of people, but for black people, especially black men in particular, we're in that space now where it's like, okay, you might not have much longer to go. You know what I mean? So from now until that point where I run out of time, I'm going to try my best to talk about the reality of what it means to be a black man of a certain age, straight up.
And so you're 42, I'm 41, and then hip hop.
So why you keep saying that?
Well, that's not my segue.
Because I'm 41, you know what I mean?
Hip hop's 50,
yeah.
right?
Oh God. Yeah.
So, we look at kind of the reflection of black men and growing up and aging and in a genre that's been notoriously focused on age and youth,
sure.
right? What was your feelings on kind of the hip hop 50 and what you hope is been the evolution of hip hop and how it has evolved, right. And as you've evolved, and also where do you think it goes and should go, and where do you go?
Right. Well, I mean, I think it was beautiful. I was able to participate in a few celebrations for the Hip Hop 50. I think that right now we're in a place where a lot of the guys that came up at a certain point, they're of a certain age, and I feel like we're now seeing that landscape. We didn't see that before because 80s, 90s, those guys, they got 2 albums, maybe 3, and then they were pretty much done for. But now we have people that are, in their 40s and 50s that are dropping some of the best work they've ever done. Black Thought comes to mind, Nas comes to mind. You have the West Side Guns and the Bennies and all those. These guys are 30s, 40s. And so we now have a space for people our age. At the same time, we have a whole different evolution happening with the young people, the way that they've created and the way they've made hip-hop their own, which is what they're supposed to do. My wish for hip-hop is that we allow the two to exist. I feel like you miss out on so much, and I think that comes from having kids. I have a 9-year-old son who's up on all the latest, that's what it sounds like, but to him it's the dopest shit, the auto-tune melodic hip-hop stuff and the Uzis and all that, and I've come to appreciate and love it because of how happy it makes him and his friends when that shit comes on and they start, doing whatever, the blicking and all, you know what I mean, start dancing around. So my wish for hip-hop is that it continues to evolve for the youth, and that the older people still have their music, but we allow these young kids to create their own blueprint, because that's the only way it survives, is if it mutates and evolves. Every generation of hip-hop artists has their guys and their sound and their people. So it should be one of those things where let's open our ears and listen to all of it. Let's embrace the fact that there are 50-something-year-old dudes like Thought, like Nas, absolutely killing it on the lyrical tip. But then you got these young dudes over here doing their thing, and it's bringing a new sound and a new vibrance to the culture. I want it to continue to grow. The idea that it has to sound a certain way, or it has to be done a certain way, or hip hop's dying or not evolving, I think it's some bullshit, old nigga hating shit. And when I was in my 20s, early 30s, I probably was that guy with my arms folded. But again, growing, aging, I'm like, yo, this shit is beautiful. This shit is beautiful. To my ears, I can't get it, but this is the next thing for them. Let them have it. So I just wanted to continue to grow, man. I think hip hop is just like it's the best thing that ever happened to me. You know what I mean? So I wanted to continue to grow and give that feeling to a whole new generation of young MCs. So.
That's a good segue, but I always love how like some of your like hip hop fans are like, Reef, you hate this record? Like, nah, I fucking love that record.
And it fucking blows it up. Dude, I anytime I've ever stepped out of that, boom, bad, like I've had people be like, well, you know what I mean? And I'm like, well, it's not for you. That's okay. But I wanna have fun. I wanna try different stuff. And like I said, I like some of that shit, man. You know? So
well, that's a perfect segue, right? Because a lot of people know you as Reef the artist. I've got the pleasure to know you as Reef the person, Sharif Lacey, right? Talk about kind of like the future for you as both an artist and also a person. The work that you do in the community, as a mentor, working with Beyond the Bars, and the work that you do with them, and also your own work. In the mentorship program that you're a part of.
Right.
Been a great inspiration for me in terms of getting more involved. Talk about that work and kind of what the future looks like for you both as an artist and also as a man, a father, and a person.
Sure. Well, I mean, I think first and foremost for me is like there was a time where it was like hip hop music was like the main thing. That's number one. And, it doesn't matter. It's but now hip hop's maybe third behind me being a husband, father, and someone trying to help these kids. So I'm working with a program called Beyond the Bars. We build studios all over the city and give music instruction, free studio lessons free equipment to kids that want to try to do something with music. And that to me has been one of the most rewarding experiences of my life, being involved with this program. I actually spoke with the child's mother yesterday for almost like 30 minutes because he got into some trouble, and she was worried that he wasn't going to be able to do the program anymore, and she was explaining to me about how the DA had put him in all these different programs. He wouldn't show up to most of them. This was the only thing that he would keep showing up for. And, you know, he had just lost his father, so he was going, and like, to be able to be a vessel for that kid and his mother and his family, that to me is like, that's the shit that's going to outlast all this, okay? Like, sure, the music stuff will be here forever, but just being able to help maybe get someone that was in a situation where they could get themselves killed or locked up to help veer them away from that, that's the future to me, because he is the future. That kid's the future. I'm a dinosaur at this point. I'm always going to make music. I'm always going to do shows when I'm asked. I'm always going to be a part of the hip-hop community wherever I'm needed. But for me right now, it's about raising my kids and help raising other kids that aren't mine. But they all belong to us, right? They're all ours. They're all ours. That's where we got to get. Like, it's so bad out here, man. It's so scary to think that, like, these, like, they don't have anybody to help or love and guide them. So for me, my mission is to be the best father I can be to not just my kids, but to other people's kids, the best mentor I can be. I'm an OG now, and I'm embracing that role. I'm easing into the role of the older statesman, elder statesman. I've tried my best to be that way in the hip-hop scene. We're trying to look out for the younger guys, or give them looks or things like that, and now I'm just applying that to the broader community in Philadelphia. You know what I'm saying? So that's what the future looks like for me, is taking everything I've learned from this business and the art and all that, continuing to apply it to my own life, but also continuing to use it to help facilitate for other kids and advocate for other kids, including my own. Obviously my own come first, but the other kids right behind it, I'm looking to really try to build more for them. You know?
Do you want to talk about a little bit of some of the things we've been talking about from a creative perspective in terms of what the future might hold, or is it a little too early for that? I mean, as far as what you want to talk about, some things we've been working on talking about.
Yeah. So myself and a few other people, shout out to John and Josh from Serious Rap Shit podcast, one of the best podcasts in the world. My man Brian, a few other people, we are currently working on a cartoon based around my life and the life of it. Nobody's really done a independent artist cartoon style about what it's like, because this shit is a fucking adventure in itself. So that's something that's in motion right now. Doing a documentary about my life and things like that, and then also like almost like I want to say, in my mind, we've talked about it, but it would be almost like a Larry David style, like kind of like mockumentary about, like, you know, again, the things that I've seen and been through as an independent artist, traveling on the road, and the people you've met and the shenanigans you get into. I don't think anybody's shown that or told that, and I think that shit needs to be out there. So that's something that's next. Like, yeah, after the record kind of does what it's gonna do, this spring, summer, after a couple months go by and the videos have been shot and all that, then it's gonna be like full steam ahead with those other creative projects. And I want to show my more, you know, for those who don't know, I've been told I'm a humorous fellow, you know what I mean? So I want to have more fun with that. I want to kind of like, because it's like, yo, like, I've been doing this music shit for fucking 20 years. Let me try something else for a minute. It'll always be there, you know what I mean? I can always come back and put a record out tomorrow. I can go to the studio with Todd and knock some shit out in a week and have it on Spotify. But this is gonna take a lot more discipline, a lot more time, a lot more effort and help from people. But I really want to try. I want to try and see what happens, and I think it might work. You know what I mean? It might work.
I mean, it's a thing we talked about, like, that you felt more and more inspired to do, and like
I'm leaning
clearing that space.
Well, everything's full circle. Because like as you stated, I started off with film and acting and all that. That's how I got the bug for. I always was rapping, but like my mom put me in a program at this place called Freedom Theater, one of the oldest black theaters in Philadelphia. When I was a kid, I still have lifelong friends from there. One of my friends is Leslie Odom Jr., who's in Hamilton. Yeah, he's now, you know, he's one of the biggest. He's back on Broadway now. I forget the name of the play he's doing right now. It's an Ozzie Davis play, but yeah, Leslie, Miriam Hyman, who is on The Shy and Power. She plays Dre on The Shy. She's yeah. These are all Freedom Theater kids. All Freedom Theater kids. I mean, and I'm seeing them. I'm like, you know what? I want to come. Let me try to get over there. You know what I mean? Because they stuck with that path.
Right.
Me, I was like, man, I ain't dancing around no tights. Like, I'm a rapper. You know what I mean? I'm like, damn, I should have maybe stayed in the fucking tights because these niggas is on Broadway. You know what I mean? But I know I have the talent, the drive, and the resources to try to create in that space, in that lane, arts, film, theater, whatever it may be. I want to throw my hand in that. You know what I mean? Fuck around, do a one-man show or something. You know what I mean? Real shit. Like I've done enough with the rap and the way I feel like that's that lane secured, my name secured in that space. And also the main thing, I was talking about this last night with Todd, because it's interesting. We stopped past Johnny Brenda's. We have the album release party February 9th there. So we went past there to drop some flyers off, shoot some promo, whatever. And upstairs was a band called The Teeth. They had 3 sold-out shows, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So this was a band that was around in 2006, 2007. They were on the rise, and they kind of imploded. But this was like their reunion show. So myself, Todd, and I believe it was the drummer of the band. He knows the drummer. We were talking, and I'll spare all the details, but the sentiment kind of was, you don't want to be the last motherfucker at the bar, bro. You don't want to look around and see everybody's left and you still sitting there. Like, so that's my biggest concern is like, damn, is still trying. He fell off. Like, you know what I mean? I don't want to be that guy, man. I don't want to be, because we know some of them. You know what I mean? It's like, damn, homie, you got it. Like, come on, bro. It's not that ship has sailed, baby. You know what I mean? And I'm not telling anybody, look, if you love something, keep doing it. But at a certain point, you have to be honest and real with yourself. And that's what one of the songs on the album, All Be Over, is about. It's like, I say when the phone stopped ringing, the crowd stopped singing, you was on the stage, now you watch from the bleachers on Twitter trying to get anybody to cop a feature. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be like 200. You know what I mean? Send me to John, I'm going to the studio today. I don't want to be that guy. And I know a lot of people that they looked up one day and they were that guy and now they're stuck. I don't want to do that. So bow out gracefully. Continue to put music out, but also try your hand at other stuff so that you're not just all eggs in one basket, because that basket can fucking crack, nigga, and you're gonna be looking stupid. So I don't want to be that guy.
A lot of people have had success in other areas, and you're immensely talented. So I don't see.
Listen, I tell people all the time, what really might have sparked it for me, man, is oh shit, is she okay?
No, that's.
Oh, that's your neighbor. All right.
My bad.
Sorry, brother.
We got residents.
There was a dude that used to do shows with us in the mid 2000s, early 2000s. His name was Blitz the Ambassador. Okay, Blitz switched his hustle from the music to film. His full name is it's an African name, so I don't want to mess it up. But put it like this: Blitz ended up producing and directing Black is King for Beyonce, and then from that, The Color Purple. People do not know the dude who directed Black is King and Color Purple was an underground rap nigga. He was doing shows at Silk City. He's from New York, but he would come to Philly and we all in the same circuit.
Yeah.
I saw that and I was like, God damn, that's what's up. Now I'm not gonna act like me and the brother were cool, but we've been on the same bills before. I watch and see what people do, and I get inspired. I'm like, yo, this dude was sharing the same stages with me. Yo, he did Black is King, he did Color Purple, and he's out of here now. He's out of here. He's about to do probably the next film's probably gonna be like a $300 million blockbuster. You know what I mean? Yeah. But my point is like he took that chance on himself. He said to him, yo, the music's cool, but I have these other talents. Let me try them out. And look what happened. So I'm just inspired to see other people's journey that switched from, because you get caught up in this. I'm so caught up or so connected to this identity of who I am as an MC, right? So much of my friends are from that. So much of my opportunities come from that. 90% of the people that reach out to me, they're not reaching out to me for any other reason than they know me through this music shit.
Yeah.
What happens if that goes away? And I've seen it destroy people when that shit is over with and they don't know what to do or where to go from there. It can be devastating. So I don't want to get caught up in that.
Is the album, the wrapping over the trilogy with Isabella gonna be the last piece of music for a little while, or is there or something else? Or do you want to talk about that yet?
Wait.
The project with Isabella wrapping up the trilogy.
Isabella.
Wrapping up the trilogy, right? And then, because you talked about, and I'm just thinking like it would just sound so amazing as like what that swan song looks like.
Yeah.
Is it the wrapping up of the trilogy, something else, or kind of are you still figuring that out?
I think the wrapping up of the trilogy, I mean, because I don't see that album even coming to shape for the next couple of years. I think that might be it.
Okay.
I think that might be it. I think there will be other stuff that I do, but I don't know if because it's like you did it. You laid it out. You went out still making good music without overextending your welcome. So I think that might be it. And then, like I said, the other stuff we have on deck, I think will sustain and kind of push in that new direction. That's what I'm focused on. You know what I mean?
I have to ask this. I'm sorry.
No.
How do you feel about the Eagles going into Monday?
Well, AJ Brown is out. I just saw that this morning. He's not playing because they let him play on that MetLife turf and fucked his knee up. The last game of the year didn't mean anything because it should have sat everybody down. I think this was we got exposed. I think we were a not so good team that kept getting wins somehow, but that shit's over and this is an epic collapse. I'm embarrassed. I'm sad, but I'm not one of these guys that's going to let it ruin my day. It sucks. I hope they figure it out, get together next year. But to all the people out there that smash their TVs and you know what I mean? Like, you got to relax. Like, I love Philly for how much we get behind the sports, but sometimes I'm like, all right, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you still got to get up and go to work tomorrow, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, you still got to get up and go to work. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't be ready to jump off a bridge because your football team lost. You know, sports can be kind of ridiculous sometimes. So, but I'm pretty surprised that they collapsed the way they did. But, you know, who knows, man? Maybe we pull out a miracle on Monday. And, I mean, we definitely not going to the Super Bowl. So if the goal is to win a championship at the end of the year and you know your team ain't doing that, why even get, you know? So I hope they figure it out, though.
What is keeping you inspired these days? Family? What are you listening to? What are you watching?
What's keeping me inspired mostly is like, right now I'm on a film kick, man. You know what I mean? Or just like dope ass. I just watched that Kid Cudi joint the other night.
Okay.
The Intergalactic. That shit's incredible. Fargo. This new season of Fargo has been great. I'm excited to go check out Book of Clarence. I'm excited to check out American Fiction, the new Jeffrey Wright joint. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm kind of, now that the album's done, as far as music goes, like I said, my contemporaries and people that I look up to, I love what Thought's been doing, love what Nas been doing on a more, contemporary level. I love the Rome Streets, the Your Old Drews, Mach Hami. I love all the hip hop that's coming out of the our scene, so quote unquote the underground scene right now. So I'm inspired by that. And again, even the younger kids that are doing their thing, I'm just inspired by the fact that like there's so many people that are creating and trying their best to put their art out into the world. I mean, that shit takes balls, man. And I know so many people that have so much talent that they're just sitting on it and are letting it waste away. So the fact that you get up and try to put yourself out there, you try to go and make yourself known as an artist, as a entrepreneur, whatever it is. I mean, I'm inspired by that because the thing is, we don't want to get complacent, man. We don't want to just accept mediocrity, right? I'm never going to accept just working at a job for somebody else and not creating and putting art out there. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm inspired by. I'm inspired by everybody really trying to fucking do their thing. You know what I mean?
Is there a guilty pleasure record that you like a lot that you feel like you shouldn't like as much as you like it?
I actually was talking to my wife about this yesterday. The fucking Bull, the Jack Harlow joint, what was it? Whip? I don't want no whips and chains and you can't tie me down. I like that joint a lot, and I shouldn't because it's so like, do you know what I mean? I'm like, this isn't for me at all. This is strictly for the broads. Like, but I'm like, yeah, I like that joint.
Yeah, I think for me, it's probably still hip hop, but I really like that Nicki Minaj record.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit's a banger, dog. That's a banger. Yeah. Listen, like I said, like I have a wife and kids that listen to all that shit in the car, so I get hip to it, and eventually shit gets stuck in your head. But yeah, that Jack Harlow joint, like I never thought in my life I would say that, but like that joint slaps. You know what I mean? And my go-to right now as far as like getting myself hyped up is the Quavo and Future joint, Turn Your Click Up.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I know so many underground rap heads heart broke just hearing that. I fuck with what I fuck with. You know what I mean? You can't tell me the Drake Deluxe joint, the second point he put out with all those just where he was just rapping. Yo, that nigga's a fucking animal.
Yeah.
When he wants to be. Like, come on, bro. Like, get out your fucking like. And you know what's funny? Niggas say shit like that online, but when they offline, they be listening to that shit too, dog. Like, let's get over it. That's what I'm saying when I was talking about. Like, let's just love it all.
Yeah.
Why you gotta have a stance like I don't listen to this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm only, you know what I mean, in fatigues and Timbs. You know what I mean? Like we passed that, bro. Like let's embrace being full human beings and loving what we love and not giving a fuck what nobody thinks. Because that's another thing about getting older. You start to care less and less what other people think, man, and that's a beautiful place to be. I don't give a fuck no more. I used to be so self-conscious, so worried about what people think. I don't care no more. What are you gonna do? I'm almost out of here.
Well, I'm glad we finally had a chance to do this.
Yeah.
Bring people into our world. We have these fantastic meetings.
Sure.
We used to do.
That's why I wanted you to do it. I was like, let's treat it like how me and you when we talk on the phone.
It's not too far from when we used to do like the Mad Max meetings. Like
Yes.
we were like funniest meetings, either like 20 minutes, like boom, boom, boom. This is everything.
Sure.
Always a pleasure, my man.
Always a pleasure, man.
I'm looking forward to everybody hearing the album.
Yes,
I've
Triumphant.
heard it. It's
out
fantastic.
Thank you. It's out February 2nd. Album release party at Johnny Brenda's February 9th. All ticket links and all that is all in the bio, or you can find it. But please come through if you can. Come through. All right?
All right.
Right.